All right, everybody, we are on the coaching call for November 7th, 2022. It is 8:02 Eastern Standard Time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen, and we are going to go ahead and give you guys some information, some really powerful information that will help you achieve your weight loss goals. So tonight, what we're going to talk about is how beliefs and feelings can help you guys achieve your goals. Real quick, give me a thumbs up, everybody, if you guys can see the screen and you can hear me. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get through this. All right, so there's 3 beliefs for successful weight loss. The first one is you have to believe that something can change. And that's really important, or something must change, I should say. So you guys got to believe that you have to change your body. That's the number one thing right now. You got to make that decision to change and tell yourself it's a must. It's an absolute must that you have to change your body. Now, if you're going to change quickly, you got to believe that something has to change. If you know you need to lose weight, you got to tell yourself that you have to get it off. You have to be all in with your program and everything you need to do to lose the weight. You got to be 100% effort into this, or it's not going to work. And you got to go ahead and give 100% effort every single day as best that you can, for the rest of your life. If you want to look to get the results and keep the results, going. And then when you achieve your goal, to maintain that goal, you got to be all in with it for the rest of your life. It's got to be a lifestyle change. And you want to get emotional with yourself and get a little bit disturbed about how you look right now and how you feel right now. When you get upset, about the way you look and the way you feel, this is going to get you to take action. And we're going to talk about this. There's 2 feelings that are going to make you guys get up off the couch and get going in the right direction. That's pain and pleasure. And we're going to talk about that tonight. So the second belief for successful weight loss is you have to believe that I must change it. What you need to do is, if you're going to create long-term change, you must believe that you are responsible for the actions that you need to take to achieve your goals. So you got to tell yourself, I must change it. You must view yourself as the source to change. Otherwise, you're going to be looking for someone else to make the change for you. And if you're looking for someone to make the change for you, it's not going to work. You can't blame anybody but your else for everything that's happened to this point with your body and what's going to happen with it in the future, because you control your life and you control your body. And I want to tell you guys really quick about a past client. This was last year. I had a client who hired me, and she was doing some coaching with me. And every time I talked with her, she always blamed somebody else for all of her problems and everything that happened with her body. I mean, she was constantly complaining about her nursing career. I don't remember exactly what kind of nurse she was, but every week that I talked with her, I asked her, why didn't the scale go down? What happened? Why didn't you get 4 or 5 exercise days in? And she would constantly blame her husband, her kids, her work. She was blaming everybody else, and she just would not take responsibility, for her life. And you guys have to do that. You got to have a must that you are the one that's going to change it. You can't blame anybody else. You can't blame your family. You can't blame anybody that's up to this point. You guys control your body and you control your life. So that's important. And the third belief is you have to believe that I can change it. One of the main reasons you failed in the past, a lot of you, when I talked to you on the phone, you said, you've tried so many things in the past, you just don't believe that it can happen again. And that's not the case. The main reasons why you guys have failed in the past is you were given some false information or a false belief. And the main form of that was on some kind of diet program or a diet company. So anybody in a state of health can improve. And I always tell people, if you failed in the past, you probably tried a program that was destined to fail from the beginning. And if the program was destined to fail from the beginning, of course you're going to fail. So anybody in a state of health can improve. You guys can lose the weight. Now that with all those beliefs, the next step that you guys want to do is you want to try and sit down and set some long-term and short-term goals. And goals are important to keep you motivated. So what you guys want to make sure you do is take measurements, 1 to scale. I'm going to have you do that every single week. Again, we're going to weigh here in the groups. I have you guys weigh on the Facebook groups. And if you guys don't know, anybody that's not a member of the group on Facebook cannot see your pictures in the group. Only members of the group can see the pictures. Anything that you want to change, you have to have a baseline to measure improvements to evaluate to actually see if the programs and your actions are working or not. So you guys want to make sure you're getting your scale weights. I would write down like your pan size. I would take a before picture, Grace and I, we talked about doing your body fat percentage, and that's something I'll talk with you guys later down the road if you decide to keep going after the initial 8 weeks. But you also want to take some tape measurements. I would take like your waist measurement, your hips, your chest, your legs, anything that you want to see improvement upon. I would go ahead and take a measurement, because some weeks the scale might not move a lot, and you might get frustrated. Let's say it's at the end of the month and you go ahead and you weigh yourself, and the last week of the month your scale didn't move much. What you want to do then is at the end of every month is you want to make sure you take the tape out and reevaluate and see what happens. And sometimes you'll lose a lot of inches, but not a lot of weight, especially when you start the exercise part of the program. You might start putting on a little bit of muscle that you've lost over the years because you weren't performing some kind of resistance training, or you tried a really strict diet and you lost a lot of muscle from that diet. And what happens then is you might gain a little bit of muscle back in the beginning, and the scale might not move a lot, but the inches should come off of your body. So if you guys don't know this, let's say you're on an exercise and nutrition program like this one, and you gain 2 pounds of muscle and you lose 2 pounds of body fat, the scale weight will stay the same, but the inches will start to peel off your body. Fat's 3 times as big as muscle mass. So if you start losing body fat and you start gaining muscle, the scale won't come down a lot, but the inches will come off of your body. And you'll definitely start feeling better too. So you want to set a long-term goal and then break that up into what I call mini goals. So you want to set like a long-term goal for maybe like 6 months. So let's say your goal is to lose 30 pounds in 6 months. Then you would break it down into mini goals, like 4-week goals. So your 4-week goals would be to lose 5 pounds every month. If you hit that mini goal every single month in 6 months, you're going to hit your long-term goal. And then you want to evaluate again every 4 weeks with program modification. And we'll do this with you guys. So at the end of the month, I'll have you guys fill an assessment sheet, and we'll talk about everything that went really well with your program, and we'll talk about where you need to make improvements. And we'll always find out what we need to do then to get a course modification and get you back on track if you're not hitting your mini 4-week goals. And then we'll also go ahead and we'll reset a long-term goal. Now, here's a little trick that you can do with your feelings then that are going to help you guys get moving in the right direction and help you accelerate your results. So there's 2 feelings that drive every human being. And I talked about this a little bit earlier. But the first one is pain, and the second one is pleasure. These are the 2 main feelings that really get us up off the couch and get us moving in one way or another. So everything you and I do, we do either out of the need to avoid pain or our desire to gain pleasure. So here's some quick examples. Some pleasure, real quick pleasure. Maybe you drink alcohol to feel good. The reason why you're drinking the alcohol is you want to feel that sensation that it gives you. That's pleasure. Pain on the other end then, maybe you don't exercise because you tell yourself that you're always sore and you don't want to have that sore feeling. That's something that you'll avoid exercise because of the pain. So those are just 2 quick examples, but we're going to show you guys how to make this work for you, this pain and pleasure, these feelings that will help you guys get moving in the right direction. So the secret of success is learning how to use pain and pleasure instead of having pain and pleasure use you. If you do that, you're in control of your life. If you don't, life will control you. So let me read that again. That's really important, really powerful. If you don't do that, you're in control of your life. If you do that, you're in control of the life. If you don't, life will control you. So we want to be in control of our life. So let's talk a little bit about pain then. So what kind of pain will you guys be in, if you're still overweight, and what's it going to cost you in the next 2 months or the next 6 months or the next year if you don't lose this weight? So write down what it's going to cost you guys if you don't change now. And I'm going to give you guys an assignment here at the end of this workshop that you guys can do, and you're going to post this, what I call the why statement, in the group. So what kind of emotional pain will you be in the next 2 months or the next 6 months or the next year if you guys don't lose your weight? What kind of self-esteem issues are you going to have in the next 2 months, 6 months, or a year if you don't lose the weight? If you don't lose the weight, how is that going to affect your physical activity, like playing with your kids or your grandkids, or your physical activity at work? How is that going to be a negative impact? What kind of pain is it going to give you? What kind of pain are you going to be in financially if you don't lose this weight? Maybe a lot of you are trying different diets, 2 or 3 different diets every year, and that's getting to cost a lot of money. Or maybe you're on a lot of, let's say, medication. blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, what's that going to cost you financially in the next year if you keep, having to pay for all of that? Or let's say you have a heart attack. Well, how much is that going to cost you? What kind of pain are you going to be in if you have a heart attack because you're overweight? What kind of pain is it going to cause your significant others and your family members? What kind of pain is it causing them right now? What kind of pain is it going to cost your family members if you keep gaining weight and you don't lose this weight and take care of it right now in the next year? Those are the questions you guys want to answer yourself, and we're going to jot this down in a second. How does this make you feel? Do you really want to live your life like this, the way that you are right now? Probably not. That's why you guys are here. So again, what kind of pain are you going to be? Emotional pain, self-esteem pain, physical activity pain, financially pain? What kind of pain is it going to cause your family? And what kinds of pain is it costing you right now because you're living the life that you don't want to live? On the opposite end, then, is pleasure. What kind of pleasure will you have in the next 2 months, the next 6 months, or the next year from now when you lose the weight and you hit and achieve your goals? How will your life be enhanced when you achieve your goals? Emotionally, how do you think you're going to feel emotionally in the next 2 months if you lose 15 to 20 pounds in the next 2 months? How do you think that's going to increase your self-esteem? Are you going to be able to improve physical activity? Are things going to be a lot easier to accomplish, like carrying the groceries from the car up to the steps to get into the kitchen? Financially, how much money will it save you in the next year, next 5 years, if you take care of this problem right now? And how is that going to make your family feel and improve the relationship with them when you guys lose this weight and take care of this problem? Don't you guys want to be the best versions of yourself? Of course you do. So we're talking about pain and pleasure right now because this really motivates you and it really drives you. And again, it gets you off the couch and it gets you to take action. Now, what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to teach you guys what I call my why statements. We want to identify why your goals are so important to you and why you guys decided to join this program. Now, let's say I'm going to use this as an example that your goal is to lose 25 pounds ultimately. Don't just tell yourself that you want to lose the 25 pounds. Identify why that goal is so important to you. Now, you really want to dig deep and identify that why and get emotional with yourself. And you want to use pain and pleasure to be very specific so that it makes you take action when you write these why statements down. So let me give you some quick examples. Maybe you want to lose the 25 pounds because you just can't keep up with your grandkids and you want to enjoy the time that you have left with them on this earth. That is something more powerful compared to saying, oh, I just want to lose 25 pounds. Or maybe you want to lose the 25 pounds because if you don't, your doctor's told you that you got to go ahead and get on blood pressure medication. You don't want to take those pills every single day, and a lot of those pills are going to help you retain water and you're not going to look great when you take those. That's powerful. Maybe you need to lose 25 pounds because you're just too embarrassed to be intimate with your significant other, and it's really affecting your relationship. That is something that's very powerful. If you read that once or twice a day, it's going to remind you to make healthier choices, and it's going to keep you consistent with your program, and you're going to ultimately help hit your goals. Or maybe you need to lose 25 pounds and start exercising because your career is so stressful and you have so much stress that you got to have a stress reliever every day to have a more positive mindset and a positive outlook on your career. For a lot of you, that are nurses, it can be a very stressful career, but you don't want to go somewhere else because you guys make, some of you, well, I shouldn't say all of you, but some of you make a significant amount of money, and that's important for your family. So you need to learn how to have a good stress reliever, and help keep you have a positive mindset on your career. So this is what I call the why statement. These identify why you guys are trying to achieve the goals. Now, what you guys want to do is you want to get like a body transformation journal or like a notebook, and I want you guys to write down your why statements. And you could have, anywhere from 2 to 5 why statements, more the merrier, but you want to make them very specific, and you want to make sure they make you a little bit emotional and they get you moving. And the reason why we want to do this is anytime you don't feel like eating correctly, or if you're doing like a fasting day, If you're not eating correctly, you want to go ahead and read that why statement. That's going to get you through that fast. That's going to get you to get up in the morning and exercise. Anytime that you don't feel like exercising, you want to read your why statement. Or anytime you've hit like a weight loss plateau, you want to read your why statement, and that's going to get you through the plateau if you've made your why statement powerful enough. And remember, you want to be very specific with your why statement. Make sure it gets you emotional, and make sure again to use pain and pleasure. Now, again, I highly suggest you guys go back through this video sometime in the next week. And again, pause the video as you're going through and you're taking notes so that you can make a very powerful why statement, something that's going to keep you going in the right direction. It's going to get you through any obstacles or plateaus that you run into. Now, I suggest you read this why statement twice a day, once in the morning with your goals and once at night before you go to bed. The reason why you want to read it right when you get up in the morning is you'll constantly be thinking about your goals and your why statement. And when you do it right before you go to bed, you'll be thinking about it in your subconscious mind as you're sleeping at nighttime. And this is a very, very powerful strategy and tool that you guys can use to get through obstacles and hit your plateau and then keep the weight off for the rest of your life. Now, your why statements might change every couple of months. So you might want to update them. But what I'm going to have you guys do, here's your assignment. I want you guys to write down anywhere from 2 to 5 why statements. Again, make them very powerful and emotional, and then post them in the Facebook group, and then everybody can help each other. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that it's powerful enough. And if it's not, I'll let you know so that you can change it. Now, the people who do this assignment are the ones who are going to get the most benefit from this. So I highly suggest you guys do this and use the group as a tool to help you guys achieve your goals. So let's support each other. So that's what I call the why statement, everybody. I mean, it really, really, really works if you use it. It seems really simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the best thing that you guys can do.